Hey folks, it's Matt once again. And like I said, coming at you with a few movie reviews. It's the new year. Hope everybody had a happy new year, safe one. Doing three reviews tonight. Doesn't mean they'll all be uploaded at the same time, but wanted to review a film that I watched again fairly recently. The Surrogates. Yeah, I got this for cheap. It was like $2, $3. And it was worth the $2, $3. But The Surrogates, I saw this once before. It's a 2009 film, of course, starring Bruce Willis. Directed by Jonathan Mostow. The same director who did U-571. He did Terminator 3. He did Breakdown. I like Breakdown a lot with Kurt Russell. I still think Breakdown with Kurt Russell is his best film. That's just me. But The Surrogates is definitely a Bruce Willis film that really came and went like the wind or like a fart or something. It came out, it did nothing, and then it disappeared. And really, no one talks about this film. I know Michael Keane did a review of this film. I know my friend Effrey said it was one of the most boring movies he's seen. Um, but saying it again, I like the film. Do I love the film? No. Is it in the top 10 best Bruce Willis films? No. But I liked it. I liked it okay. I mean, it's based on a comic book which I've never read. Also has Radha Mitchell from Pitch Black, Ving Rhames, weirdly enough, James Cromwell from My Robot. And it takes place in the future where a society has these surrogates, which are robotic, kind of robotic versions of yourself that you can use to go out. There we go. There we go. Go out into the world, and you can put in your little thing and hook yourself up, and you control it, and you can do anything. You don't have to worry about getting hurt. You don't have to worry about getting sick. No fear. You can make it look like anything, whatever. And one night, two surrogates, they get destroyed by some sort of weapon. But the weapon not only does it destroy the surrogates, but somehow it travels back to the receiver and kills them as well. And Bruce Willis and Radha Mitchell are partners who are investigating the case. And then one thing leads to another, you find out what's going on. Now, as for the film itself, I like okay. What I like about the film, first and foremost, why this was worth the $2, $3 is Bruce Willis's his performance is really solid. Um, and weirdly enough, like in his surgeon body, they kind of fix the face so he looks like younger, and he has like this hair that just looks weird on Bruce Willis. Weirdly enough, when there comes to a point where he's about to be killed, but he gets out just in the nick of time. And so then he is walking around in the real world while there's all surrogates around, and he feels weird, and he looks like this. He looks better like this to me than his younger surrogate self, his robotic self. He looked better like this. But I really like Bruce Willis. He did a great job with his performance because you have a little subplot where he has his wife who he never sees her in real life, just always sees her. She's stuck in her room, and you only see her surrogate, her robotic double. And he's like, he wants to see his real wife, and you get stuff where you find out that they had a son who died, something about a car accident. You get maybe the feeling that maybe she was driving the car because you see little snippets of her, and it looks like she's scarred up, so maybe she was driving the car. They don't really go into too much detail, but Bruce Willis really did a bang-up job. And then when he's by himself and he's not used to being in the, walking around and feeling actual pain when he gets beat up, Bruce Willis really did a bang-up job in his performance. The film is not wall-to-wall action, but it was pretty quick film. This is 89 minutes, but without the end credits, it's about an hour and 25 minutes. So I didn't think it was too long. It kind of went in. 80 some minutes later, the movie ended. So I was fine with that. the little bits of action that it has, although some of it reminds me of Terminator 3, and like I've said before, I'm not really a big fan of Terminator 3. But like, there's an instance where you have a woman, a surrogate body, or surrogate robot body that kind of reminds me of the the TX from Terminator 3 when she's jumping on vehicles, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of TX too much from Terminator 3. Um, but it was still a decent scene. Uh, wasn't the best. I did like the scene where you have the surrogate body of Bruce Willis is controlling, and like he gets in a helicopter crash, and then he wakes up and his arm's gone. His so it's kind of like Bruce Willis' version of a Terminator, which I thought was cool when he's chasing this guy who has the weapon. But yeah, it's not wall to wall action. So I didn't. I really like Bruce Willis. He was my favorite part of the film. His performance. It looked like they had money behind it because the film looks nice. Um, Special effects looked fine. So it looks like they had some money behind it. Again, the film's like 80 some minutes long, so it wasn't like too much of a struggle for me to watch it. And I thought it was like a decent time waster, that sort of feeling. But I didn't love the film for a number of reasons. Number one, it felt too much like iRobot. And if I had to say I like iRobot more, which is sad because I like Will Smith, but if I'm picking between Will Smith and Bruce Willis, I don't pick Bruce Willis. So it would be nice if you put Bruce Willis in iRobot, but at the same time, Will Smith did a great job in iRobot as well. So I take that back. Will Smith did a good job in iRobot. I'm actually a fan of iRobot, and I like that film a lot more than this. But that's the thing. This film felt too much like iRobot. I mean, James Cromwell, pretty much, without giving too much away, pretty much plays the same type of character. You know, he's the creator, or he's the guy who uh, is when the case starts off, it deals with James Cromwell, and he had a hand in creating these robotic. Basically, the surrogates, you take them off, they almost kind of look like the robots in iRobot. And James Cromwell is a big creator guy, and you have a cop investigating the death, and people don't. Oh, come on, surrogates, come on, you can't get killed, with surrogate. It's kind of like they don't believe the lead guy, or they don't want he's doing investigations, thus, kind of, it's too similar to iRobot in a way. And I just felt, again, iRobot was done much better. The action scenes were definitely more enthralling, as well as you had some good performance by Will Smith as well. Definitely more action packed. Uh, Also, subplots, like there's a subplot with Ving Rhames. He's sort of the leader of this group of people who hate machines, who hate the surrogates, so they form their own group in the city. And you have some stuff going on with Ving Rhames that really went nowhere, in my opinion. It was kind of put in there, and it's like, if you took it out, you really would not change much of anything. So it's kind of like, ended up kind of pointless, in my opinion, the Ving Rhames. It's like, what are you doing in here, Ving Rhames? Like, it's really not much ado about nothing, so to speak. Um, the ending was fine, but it wasn't like the most exciting or enthralling. But I mean, it was fine. Again, it's helped by Bruce Willis's performance. And this is a film that is kind of hard to talk about. I think it's a decent time waster. I do like the film. I think the length of the movie was fine. Looked like they had a budget. Some of the special effects are fine. Bruce Willis is really the best part of this movie. His performance, trying to get his wife out of the room, or trying to. He did a really good job. Uh, it's just it's going to be marketed as an action movie, and it's not an action movie by a long shot. There's not much action in it. As a thriller, it's not the most thrilling. I mean, there's a lot of thrillers. I think iRobot even worked better as a thriller than this film. I can't help it. I just compared iRobot. I'm sure there's a bunch of other films you can kind of compare it to. And I don't know, the whole idea of the surrogates, it just, I don't know, it just didn't appeal to me maybe as much as they thought it would appeal to people. I just don't see it very reasonable to actually have that people can afford a robotic version of themselves. That they wouldn't be allowed, cheap ass people to be like, fuck this, I'm just gonna go to the store and do my stuff. I can't afford this thing to get maintained and maintenance and stuff like that. It has to be a bitch to be paying for. And also, I just couldn't understand why crime would go down so much. They said, oh, crime went down like 99% since people started using surrogates. And I'm like, well, wouldn't there be a point where people would hack into these things? I mean, they show that you can maybe hack into it, or you can, that there are people who actually do, which is weird. They say that, but then there's another scene where people are actually beating up on a woman, and then this guy could hack in and just stop the surrogate bodies. So I just don't really understand their thinking of, oh, it brought crime down so much. I'm like, but it's a surrogate body. Really, anybody could get into that body. Like, think about it. You can knock someone out, get into that body do, or sneak into the house or do whatever, get into that device, use that body, rob a fucking store, grab the money and run or something. Like, you would think there'd be more, you know, of that happening. Um, but what do I know? It's just a sci-fi movie. But I don't know. I mean, the surrogate bodies. I guess the storyline wasn't maybe as interesting as they thought it would be. Uh, Having a robot version of yourself. Um, if they try to go for a theme, I'm not really sure what the theme was, to be honest. Um, if you're lazy, clap your hands and make a fucking surrogate do it for you. But overall, some the story is something you've seen before. It's not something that's going to blow your mind. If you've seen iRobot, it may remind you of that film. It may remind you of a few other sci-fi flicks. The action scenes are not really that oh shit memorable. Um, James Cromwell. I mean, again, him being both films, it didn't remind you of another film with robots. But at the same time, I liked it. For Bruce Willis, I liked his performance. There's a budget behind this flick. It was a decent time waster. So if you're a fan of Bruce Willis, I see it for Bruce Willis's performance. He does a good job in the performance. But Jonathan Mostow, I don't know if it's Jonathan Mostow or the script by John Brancato and Michael Ferris, or it was the source material itself, the graphic novel. But you know, it's it's a good time waster, decent time waster, but again, sort of much ado about nothing at the same time. It's not really, you can kind of understand why the film has kind of been forgotten. It's going to be one of those Bruce Willis films that people don't see and forget, but I'm glad to have it in my collection because Bruce Willis does a good job performance-wise. So overall, I like the film. I'll probably give like a I don't really give grades or ratings, but if someone said, "Oh, give it out of 4 stars," I would give it like 2. 2 stars for Bruce Willis. The other, it's just the story wasn't as thrilling as it could have been. The action scenes were definitely not as plentiful or as exciting, or even the action scenes I would give credit in Terminator 3 were more enthralling, or even Breakdown, the little bits were more like Breakdown was from the director. Breakdown was a bit much better thriller than this, and even Terminator 3. Well, I like this film much more because I like Bruce Willis' performance. Terminator 3, I just had problems because I didn't think it was needed. But I will say the action scene in that with the trucks and Arnold hanging on, and that's better than any action scenes in this film. I'll give credit to that, as well as some other bits of the actions. But yeah, I like the film okay. I like it. But either way, thanks for watching. Take care and stay tuned for another review. Later.